Yo, what's going on is non-reality, and this is my first ever video on this channel. And in this series, I'm basically going to be showing my progress as a new player in RuneScape, because there isn't too many new players in RuneScape, or at least not a lot of new players that are making videos. And I wanted to basically make a series where I show my progress throughout the months of playing RuneScape. And I wanted a good starting point. I didn't want to start at the very beginning because a lot of the very beginning stuff is super easy to do. So I wanted a decent starting point where I kind of hit that barrier of like, okay, now I'm actually playing RuneScape. And I think I've gotten to the point right about now, which is why I wanted to start the series around here. So I'm going to quickly go over everything I'm at right now so you guys can see where I am at. And then we will move on from there. Maybe I will do videos on how I make gold as a new player, or how my first dungeon runs on, or first boss runs, or stuff like that. Maybe trying out new things I've never done before, and I can get some tips and stuff in the comments when I release the videos. So to start out, here is my stats. A lot of these stats are just from doing quests, because I did follow the optimal quest guide for a bit. Something like my attack strength and defense and range I've leveled separately, just so I could do my first, or I could try out my first PVM experience, which I'll be making a video on in the coming days. But yeah, most of these stats are just from doing quest, and then I did a little bit of fletching to try to get some gold, which wasn't actually that successful because it's kind of dropped a lot in gold value. A lot of things that I've been told to do, whether it's through Discord, Reddit, or watching videos, have kind of dropped a lot in price. Like I'll watch a guide, I'll be like, hey, you do this fletching thing, you'll make 300k an hour, and then I do it and it'll be like 100k if that. But yeah, so let's move on now. We'll start over here. So combat level is 81. My total level, what you saw there, I have 117 quests completed. I basically just been trying to pump these out as fast as possible. Didn't really think I needed to make any videos on them because they're kind of just, run here, do this, run here, do this, nothing too great. And then I've been playing for, or my in-game time is 8 days. I've been playing for about 20 days total, I think, because I bought a membership basically day one and it hasn't expired yet. For quest, I have 216 quest points. My main goal at the moment is to try to complete the quest and get the quest cape. That's just my main goal. And the good part about that is with the optimal quest guide on the wiki, it will be like, hey, you need to level this skill from 30 to 50 so that I can get a bit of experience in my stats while also completing the quest. For my gear that I'm rocking right now, my range gear, I basically just use magic shortbow, red d'hide, and red d'hide chaps. I'm pushing for the toxic blowpipe, but I haven't been really focusing range. And then I have the Ava's accumulator from the quest. And then for magic, I basically have the Iban staff. I have the upgraded version. I don't really have any mage gear. I don't really know what to use for mage gear. Maybe someone can comment in the description what I should be using that isn't too expensive, because I don't have much gold. And then for my melee gear, I have the Abyssal Whip. Luckily, I was able to scrounge together some gold to actually get it when it was pretty cheap. I think I got it for like 1.8 or 1.6. Have the Helm of Neesnot from the Fremeric Trials quest. I have the Dragon Defender from the Warriors Guild. I was told this was actually pretty difficult to get, but I got it in about 5 hours from the base rune, or the base defender, to Dragon Defender. And I just have some rune gear, and I just throw on whatever accessories I can find that are cheap and give stats. I really want to work towards a Berserker ring, but that is very expensive, so I will need help trying to figure out what gold guides I can actually do that will give it decent gold. Now, other than that, I basically wanted to talk about my thoughts on the game so far. So some things I like about the game is I like how much there is to do. There's a ton of stuff that you can do in this game. And it makes it so like, like if I'm training and I'm like, oh, I don't want to train combat, I can go, do quests. And I'm like, I don't want to do quests, I can, go try out new content that I have not done before, which I think is really nice. I also love that there's always items on the exchange. I play a lot of MMOs where you kind of have to sit on a listing for a really long time before it sells. And in this game, I can place an order for basically anything that is cheap, and it will sell immediately if I put up a decent price order, which I think is really cool. I do also like that there's a lot of friendly people in the community that will help out with any questions that I actually do have. The Discord is really helpful, and even when there is a stupid question I could just look up on the wiki, they still manage to help me and don't just be like, hey, go to the wiki and figure it out yourself. I think is really cool. Now, some things I'm not too big of a fan of as of right now is, first of all, is gold making. Early on, the gold making is kind of rough. That's one thing that I kind of been getting annoyed about, because I'll like ask people, be like, hey, how can I make gold? And they're like, oh yeah, just go do this PVM boss that you need, 80 stats for, and 40 million worth of gear to do. And like, they don't realize I'm a new player, so I can't do that, even though I say I am. And then they're like, oh, you're a new player, go do this really old method from 2016, and then that makes barely any gold. So I'm kind of stuck in this loop of not really having any gold. I think I have about 300k gold to my name, which I use on like potions and whatnot when I actually need them, or like, buying new amulets so I can teleport. Other than that, the only other kind of dislike that I have is there isn't many other new players, so I can't really share in my new player pains and glories, because like I'll be like, hey, I got this really cool item, and everyone's like, bro, that item was cool in 2014 and now it's not cool anymore. Other than that, I do really like the game. It is really cool game, and as a new player, I think the new player experience is actually still really good. And yeah, this is that's basically it for my first update guide, or my first update video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.